Tonight on EKB Evening News at 6, Republican candidates for governor square off in Pikeville. Good evening, I'm Cindy Mae Johnson.
And I'm Gary Sloan.
Now, before we get to last night's debate, we have a developing story out of Logan County. An assistant basketball coach at Logan High School was arrested today.
The State Police Crimes Against Children's Unit charged 32-year-old Ryan Wall of Stallings with 11 counts of sexual abuse and 1 count of using obscene material to seduce a minor. Investigators say they uncovered credible information that showed Wall was involved with sexual relations with at least a couple of students.
Wall is an assistant coach on both the girls and boys basketball teams. State police are now looking for possible additional victims.
2 candidates for governor and 1 candidate for lieutenant governor took part in a debate at the University of Pikeville last night. EKB News reporter Courtney Levern covered the event and brings us this report.
From marijuana regulation to school systems and health care to race riots, the gubernatorial debate had it all. The University of Pikeville campus conservatives hosted the event in Booth Auditorium that gave 3 of the 4 different campaigns the chance to state their stance on particular issues concerning Kentucky. The campus conservatives president elaborated on the evening's agenda.
This event, we have three out of the 4 Republican candidates coming, and basically we're going to be asking them questions to get the local people a feel of what basically they stand for and just anything that they want to hear about from the candidates. I mean, we have so many people that work countless hours to put this together, and I would say getting them actually a hold of the candidates and then getting them here was a big part of it.
Republican candidates Will T. Scott, Matt Bevin, and James Comer's running mate, Senator Chris McDaniel, were all in attendance and all agreed that this debate was a great political event.
Well, it was enjoyable. You know, I really respect these guys, and they've learned their lessons too. You know, they know Kentucky. We all care about Kentucky, and we're offering our different visions for tomorrow.
I think it was outstanding. I mean, they did a terrific job, really and truly. For the first time that such an event took place here, it was more well done than many that we have attended so far. Greater enthusiasm, better questions than some have been. I think it was terrific, and I hope it was value added to those who came out tonight.
I thought it was a great debate. You know, it was the first time that the gubernatorial candidates had the chance to be at the University of Pikeville. It was a great exchange of ideas. You saw people keep things positive. Really, it was about ideas and achievement, and I really couldn't have been more proud of what went on here tonight.
Former Governor Paul Patton was also in attendance to see the next potential representative for the Republican Party in the governor's race. On Election Day, which is May 19th, the Republican nominee will be decided. Reporting for EKB Evening News at 6, I'm Courtney Levern.
Last night, EKB News reporter Shannon Deskins gave us an in-depth look at the SOAR initiative as the group prepares for a strategy summit in Pikeville next week. Tonight, she follows up with a preview of the summit and tells us what the group hopes to accomplish.
On Monday, more than 1,200 people will converge on the East Kentucky Expo Center in Pikeville for the 2015 SOAR Strategy Summit. The original summit was planned for February, but was canceled due to a snowstorm that blanketed our region with more than a foot of snow. Everyone who wants to be a part of the SOAR solution, from students to community leaders, is invited to attend the summit, which organizers say will be a valuable opportunity to meet new contacts.
It's also a great networking opportunity to meet a lot of these federal agencies that sometimes in our communities we just see an application come through and it's a piece of paper. It's a tremendous networking opportunity for a lot of our local leaders.
The summit is designed to help citizens as well as community leaders gain understanding on competing for grants, understanding how to work with other groups while maintaining your local identity, and the opportunity to attend valuable breakout sessions.
We've got the role of local government, a session on that people can hear what should a city be doing and what can they do from a planning standpoint and from an economic development standpoint. And you'll get to hear what some other communities have done.
Arnett stressed that everyone needs to commit to work together in order to achieve goals that will benefit the entire region. And he hopes those who attend Monday's summit will walk away motivated to take action.
I want everybody to leave saying we're in this together and I'm committed to do my part. And it can be, they don't have to say I'm going to be part of a regional committee to go out and change the entire region. And we want people to be united in that effort, committed, believe we can do this, and walk away as part of the SOAR team.
For EKB Evening News at 6, I'm Shannon Deskins.
Last night, we told you about how the state's dwindling coal severance tax was a hot topic during a legislative forum sponsored by the Appalachian News Express and featuring Pike County lawmakers. Another issue the leaders spoke at length about was how the county and the region can benefit from tourist dollars. And the second part of her look at issues surrounding the forum, EKB News reporter Shelby Steele spoke with each of the lawmakers and found that tourism and transportation go hand in hand.
Tourism has boomed in Pike County over the past several years. According to Tour Pike County is one of America's most historic places. Pike County offers Hatfield and McCoy tours, Henry Ford's coal mining empire, and rich railroad history. During the Appalachian News Express Legislative Forum held at U-Pike Tuesday evening, moderators asked legislators how the region could move forward when it comes to tourism. Each legislator agreed that in order for tourists to want to visit, we need better roads for them to travel. Kentucky State Senator Ray Jones says we need better roads in order to have progress.
In order to create jobs of any kind, whether it's tourism, whether it's an energy related industry, any type of business that we try to bring to Eastern Kentucky, we have to have ingress and egress. We have to have a way to get people and materials in. We have to have a way to get the finished product out.
Representative John Short explains that we need to use the resources we have.
With Pike County, we got to use our Hatfield-McCoy Trail. We got to just anything we can grasp a hold of and start growing from there. And like I say, in McGoffin County, we got the rails to trails. We're working right now trying to have a little trail town in Royalton.
Representative Chris Harris states that he is proud of the Appalachian heritage, but we could also branch out to different things.
As we continue to grow and our economy diversifies, hopefully this tourism will give us another tool in our toolbox to help take some of the burden, some of the pressure off of coal.
Representative Leslie Combs says we have already made progress with the expansion of the Mountain Parkway and opening part of 460. She adds that now there is more opportunity in Pike County.
We are working right now on the road to Phelps. That's the one big roadway that we think is left that needs to be done in the county, and that's underway. So Pike County is very fortunate in the road projects as far as getting to the major parts of the county.
For EKB Evening News at 6, I'm Shelby Steele.
In an update to a story we first told you about last night, the victim of a Perry County shooting has died of his injuries. Robert Earl Miller was shot in the face following an altercation at an Erie residence Tuesday night. He was airlifted to Pikeville Medical Center that night, but died of his injuries shortly before 7 last night. The suspected shooter, 61-year-old James D. Brewer, fled the scene before police arrived and remains at large. Originally charged with first-degree assault, police have upgraded that charge to murder. Police are continuing to ask the public to report any information concerning Brewer's whereabouts to Kentucky State Police Post 13. He is described as a white male, approximately 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing 150 pounds, with blue eyes and gray hair. Police caution he should be considered armed and dangerous. That number to call is 606-435-6069. Well, coming up, a documentary largely filmed in Paintsville will play in Paintsville tomorrow night.
And boaters will give Dewey Lake a facelift this weekend in preparation for the summer season. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
A Logan County man is expected to plead guilty to a federal charge of sending a threatening letter by mail. According to court records, 32-year-old Kelly Gerald Crosby is accused of sending the letter from Holden last September. The recipient of the threat has not been disclosed. Earlier this week, Assistant U.S. Attorney Timothy Bogus asked U.S. District Judge John T. Copenhaver Jr. to set a hearing in order for Crosby to enter a guilty plea. The date for that hearing has not yet been set. This isn't Crosby's first run-in with the law. In 2007, he was convicted of using minors in a sexually explicit film. In December, he was wanted by police for escaping post-release monitoring by cutting off a court-ordered GPS ankle monitor. He was arrested 2 weeks later.
Tomorrow night, the SIP Theater in Paintsville will present Michael Crisp's new movie, The Death of Floyd Collins. Crisp is best known locally as the director of The Very Worst Thing, a documentary about the 1958 Floyd County school bus crash that killed 27. In his newest film, Crisp explores the tragic end of Collins, who became pinned while exploring Sand Cave in 1925. Efforts to free him over the next 18 days were unsuccessful, and he ultimately died. In the meantime, the incident touched off one of the earliest examples of media circus, which saw reporters from all over the country descend upon the scene to cover the story. The film includes extensive recreations of events, many of which were filmed in Paintsville. The film was originally scheduled to have premiered in Paintsville in February, but severe winter weather forced it to be rescheduled twice. Now, tomorrow's showing will be the final time the movie appears on the big screen. The film begins at 8:30 p.m. Friday at the SIP Theater. Tickets are $8.
Well, we've had reports on cleanup events at area lakes before, but nothing quite like what's being held at Jenny Wiley State Resort Park this weekend. On Saturday, volunteers will take to their boats to rid the water of debris left over from this past winter's storms. EKB News reporter Shelby Steele tells us more.
Jenny Wiley State Resort Park is hosting a unique cleanup this Saturday. Instead of staying on land and cleaning up around the shore, volunteers will be given the opportunity to clean up Dewey Lake by boat. Park manager Julian Sloan says the first ever boater cleanup will give boating enthusiasts the chance to beautify the lake.
We're trying to get all the people that use the lake in the summer, the fishermen, the boaters, the houseboat owners, the pontoon boat owners, to come out and help us pick trash up off the lake.
Sloan adds that Jenny Wiley hosts an annual cleanup every year to help clean up the shore. He says this year they were able to collect 10 tons of trash, but with the recent flooding, another cleanup is needed for the water.
We've got more trash back out on the lake, and you can't get on the lake shore now as you could in March because the water's back up. So boat's the easiest way to access it.
If you don't have a boat, don't worry. Jenny Wiley will be taking 7 boats out in the water to help clean up the lake.
They can help pick up trash from our boats. We can also have a few places that you can still get down close to the lake to help pick it up around the lake bank, the lake shore. The park will be supplying all garbage bags, all gloves, everything they just need to show up, and we'll take care of them.
Volunteers need to meet at the old Jenny Wiley pool by 9 a.m. and cookout-style food will be provided at 1 after the cleanup, courtesy of Jenny Wiley State Resort Park. For EKB Evening News at 6, I'm Shelby Steele.
Coming up, Andrew Joyce will be in. We'll find out if the Reds were successful in their bid to get back over the 500 mark.
But first, EKB Chief Meteorologist Lathan Hopkins will be in with our weather forecasts. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Another summery day today. It was great.
Loved it. It's going to continue right on through the weekend. It will be early next week before temperatures drop back to where they should be this time of the year. But much like yesterday, some of us picking up a little rain this evening. Doppler radar showing where that rain is located, and again, near mainly, let's say, south of the Kentucky-Virginia border, across parts of Letcher County, and we have one little cell in Martin County. Let's zoom in first. And we will go to that cell that is developed in parts of Kentucky and Virginia right along the border. You can see the trend of where these storms are moving, mainly to the south and to the west, a little different than normal. We'll zoom in a little closer. Cell getting ready to move through Grundy as we speak, maybe even brush Elkhorn City. And another little cell that has developed near Whitesburg, really cooling them down, and I'll show you that here in just a second. I also want to point out, you'll notice this blue line here. That is a gust of wind from this thunderstorm as it is dying out. And normally we will see a couple of showers and thunderstorms form along that little boundary there. So Pikeville, Prestonsburg over to Hazard may see a little pop-up shower or thunderstorm here within the next hour or so. And finally, we'll take you up toward Martin County, right along the Kentucky and West Virginia border near Warfield, Crum, Inez, along Route 40, 52, 645. May get a quick shower here within the next little bit. All right, let's take a look at the satellite and radar composite, and you'll see the cloud cover, the showers and thunderstorms mainly in southwest Virginia and southern West Virginia. Day 3 now for the folks in Whitesburg are picking up some locally heavy rainfall. Pikeville, you picked up some rain yesterday, or late last night. Really, since then, you've been pretty much dry for several days. Let's take a look at the temperatures, though, because that's the big story over the past several days. 85. It is still 85 degrees well after 6 o'clock in Pikeville, 83 Prestonsburg, 83 in Inez, Painesville, 84 right now Salyersville. Notice Wise, 65 degrees. Whitesburg, 64 degrees. Much cooler due to those showers that have moved through. Temperature today, well, for the almanac, we went down at 85 degrees. Record low was 64. Nowhere near a record, but notice the normal temperatures for this time of the year. 73, 53. We'll be back close to that as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. This is pretty much not changed for the past several days, sandwiched in between two systems, one to the southeast and another to the west. Put the markers on here so you know exactly what we're talking about. There you see a cold front to the north and to the west. This one will slowly try to move in. How slow? Well, today is Thursday and we're talking Tuesday before it finally makes its way here, so ever so slow. And we have an area of high pressure in control of our weather for now, and still watching this area of low pressure. We could see something tropical form. 80% of that happening now within the next 2 days, and as a matter of fact, they're saying maybe by 11 o'clock tonight, this would be Anna. Could see a tropical storm, and it could brush the Carolinas here over the next couple of days. So that's something definitely to keep a close eye on. How will it play out with our forecast? Well, I think it's going to be far enough to the south that we will not have to worry about it. As far as the pollen count is concerned, 8.9 for Friday, 9.8 Saturday, 9.3 on Sunday. Cannot get a break from the pollen, unfortunately. And of course, the pollen count sponsored by Faith Pharmacy, Adams Plaza in Pikeville. 7-day forecast, 30% chance of rain Friday, 20% on Saturday, 30% chance of rain on Sunday, a broken record. Best chance of rain holding off until Monday and Tuesday of next week. And of course, you can catch the latest forecast in tomorrow's edition of the Appalachian News Express.
Yeah, new venture for you.
Something new.
Branching
Check it out.
out.
Yeah.
Thanks. Well, I'm glad the weather's going to be good Saturday because racers, rodders, and gearheads of all stripes will find plenty to do this weekend as Muscle on Main returns to Pikeville for 2015. The car-centered fun takes place the second weekend of every month from May to October and offers a little something for everybody. Pikeville Tourism and Events Director Andy Linton said on the Daybreak Morning Show this morning that the festivities get started Friday evening.
We brought the block party back down to downtown in the Riverfield. We're having the burnouts as well. They'll kick off at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
So come down to the block party and tailgate and have a good time and watch all the guys burn the tires off the cars.
Burning the tires off their cars. The fun doesn't stop there, as Linton described a day full of activities on Saturday.
Saturday morning, we're kicking off with the car show. Saturday morning, registration from 10 to 1. Then don't forget our kids zone during the day. We have on Expo Plaza, we have a lot of events there for the kids. Something new that we're doing this year is we have U-Pike that's going to send some players out to shoot around basketball with the kids. I've got some basketball hoops set up on the plaza. Then, of course, Saturday evening we have the drag races that kick off at 7. We're actually going to do Test and Tune from 5 to 7, and then at 7 o'clock we'll have the opening ceremonies.
Muscle on Main is in the Riverfield Arena. It's a lot of fun if you haven't been.
Oh, it is a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. We'll be back with sports in 2 minutes. Well, the Reds continue their road trip.
They do indeed, in Pittsburgh, National League Central rival, and last night they were looking to get over 500. We'll find out if they did. First, yesterday afternoon, UK Hoops head coach Matthew Mitchell announced the suspension of sophomore point guard Michaela Epps after she was cited on alcohol-related charges in her hometown of Lebanon. Epps was first-team All-Southeastern Conference last year and averaged 14.9 points and 4.6 rebounds. She was cited last month in her hometown. The 19-year-old will face a pre-trial hearing May 11th after pleading not guilty. Police say she was given a breathalyzer test that showed the presence of alcohol but didn't list a reading. Michaela is the daughter of Anthony Epps, the starting point guard for the Wildcats' 1996 National Championship team. In other basketball off-season news, ESPN is saying Michael White, Louisiana Tech's basketball head coach, will meet with Florida Athletic Director Jeremy Foley as the Gators' leading prospect to replace Billy Donovan, who accepted the head coaching job with the Oklahoma City Thunder last week. And in Major League Baseball last night, the Reds facing the Pirates in Pittsburgh, the second game of the series. We'll go to the top of the third. Reds first baseman Joey Votto strikes out swinging, but he'll toss his helmet and had a word or two for home plate umpire Chris Conroy. Once he realizes he's been ejected, Votto will head for the umpire. Will he bump him? Yes, he did, and may face disciplinary action. Brandon Phillips with this screamer, a dribbler down the third base line. Just fair. Take our word for it. Just fair. Reds go on top. Pitcher Mike Leake, one of the best in the league, rips a ground rule double to left. That sends the Reds on top 2-0. And top of the fifth, Marlon Byrd goes deep. A blast to center field, 3-0. That's all the offense Leake would need. 8 innings pitched, no runs, scattering 6 hits for the win. Cincinnati defeats the Pirates 3-0. The Reds improved to 14-13 and over 500 for the first time since April 22nd. Tonight, Cincinnati looks to complete the series sweep at 7:05. And high school baseball, Paintsville at Johnson Central in a battle that came down to the final inning. The Tigers took the lead for the first time in the top of the 7th. 2 runners on. Andrew Rice drives one to left field, and that will send Matthew Miller to the plate. Tigers now down 1. That'll bring Lucas Adkins to the plate. He'll hit a screamer to left. Another run will score on that base hit. The Tigers and Eagles are tied. Ken Phillips comes to the plate. He'll drop this one in right field, just in front of the right fielder. Adams will score the go-ahead run for the Tigers. Johnson Central will try to rally in the bottom of the 7th, but with 2 outs. Kelly Braxton will pop up in foul territory, and Paintsville's Cash Daniel will make the catch. The final out, Paintsville 10, Johnson Central 9. The Tigers improve to 18-5. Johnson Central drops to 14-12. After the game, Michaela Colley got the chance to speak with Paintsville standout athlete and UK recruit Cash Daniel on his decision of where to play at the next level.
Paintsville native Cash Daniel is on the hunt to land a football scholarship to play at the next stage. He has received offers, but after a standout performance at the Rivals camp in Charlotte, his options have increased.
4 Power 5 schools and a couple good, mid-major schools. Marshall, they were finished in the top 25 last year. Kentucky, South Carolina, Louisville, and Purdue, and all programs with a great history. And I'm really thankful and blessed to receive that opportunity to come play for each one of those programs.
Cash Daniel has been putting in some extra work to prepare for the next level in his football career.
I've been pretty much preparing for my whole life, hitting the weight room, always stay competing and stuff. Being a 3-sport athlete, helps that, because you're always competing at everything. I do my homework, on each of these schools, and I watch film, college film, so to prepare myself for what's next.
A decision has not yet been made, but he is happy with the way things are going so far in choosing the right program for him and his family. Cash may be just a kid from Eastern Kentucky, but he was still able to be noticed with his athletic ability.
No, I'll tell everybody this. I don't play favorites. It's all about where you feel at home and what's best for me and my family. And that's basically all my decisions coming down to, is where I feel at home and where I can thrive in academics and also in football. I'm just really proud to be where I'm from and what school I'm from. This is pretty much a stamp for East Kentucky, saying that, just because where we're from or what school you go to, if you can play, they'll find you.
For EKB Evening News at 6, I'm Michaela Colley.
Thanks, Michaela. Cash, of course, now considered a 4-star recruit, is ranked 8th in the linebacker corps in the country. UK head coach Mark Stoops has already offered Daniel a scholarship. Ohio State was in Paintsville yesterday, and Florida will pay him a visit next week. In other high school baseball action, Magoffin County came out on top over Betsy Lane, 10-6. Tonight, Lawrence County will travel to Allen Central. Jenkins will be on the road to Betsy Lane. Hazard travels to Paintsville. Phelps will be taking on Pike Central at Buckley's Creek, and Belfry visits Shelby Valley.
In softball action, Lawrence County's Lady Bulldogs got a doubleheader sweep over the Phelps girls, 18-0 and 10-0. Paintsville defeated Knott Central 10-1, and South Floyd knocked off the Prestonsburg Lady Blackcats 13-3. Tonight, Prestonsburg goes to Betsy Lane. Hazard will face Allen Central. The Phelps ladies travel to Eastridge, and Belfry's girls visit Shelby Valley.
Lots of good stuff going on.
Lots of stuff from many different sports, and great to hear the news on Cash Daniel, now highly recruited nationally.
Absolutely. Makes you really proud of him.
He's an outstanding athlete.
That's awesome.
And we'll be back in 2 minutes. Well, the hot temperatures continue.
For several more days, temperatures tonight back near 60 degrees and then into the mid and upper 80s for the rest of the week, even into the weekend. By Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week, we cool down back in the 70s. And again, you can catch the latest forecast in tomorrow's edition, Appalachian News Express.
Sounds good. Yeah. Because you can never get enough time to talk about sports.
Of course.
We're going to do it again tonight.
How about that? Sports Guys tonight at 7, 2 action-packed hours. You don't want to miss it.
It's always action-packed.
Action-packed.
Well, that will do it for tonight's EKB Evening News. Remember, you can get more local news anytime by listening to the radio stations of East Kentucky Broadcasting.
You can follow EKB News and EKB TV on Facebook and Twitter. We're going to leave you tonight with a look at the beautiful scenery around Marion's Branch. Good night. Thanks for watching.